folks, and greetings from Los Angeles, California. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be here across about 3,000 miles with you, Ray,
Yep.
on your
Hey, Andy.
on your video. I guess it's called Performing Songwriter series or music series. I don't know what it's called, but forgive me. But whatever it is, it's a pleasure to be here. And what we're going to do now on this mini guitar session that Ray and I decided we put together and throw in the series is review, discuss, go over the attachment of music passages using the guitar to specific lyric lines while you're songwriting. And I remember, Ray, you doing a song, and I'm going back years, maybe 20 years, where you did this song, I think you recorded it actually, called CGD?
CD and G.
CD and G. I remember that song, and I think about it often, to be honest with you, because I've seen so many guitarists and musicians and singer-songwriters and band members, some of which are making amazing amounts of money, who pretty much strum C, D, and G and make just a very good living doing it, which is okay. But what makes a musician stand out? What makes a song stand out? What makes a lyric line stand out? And how does a song land in terms of its expression as opposed to just being heard? What makes a song land here instead of land here? And a lot of that has to do with the state of the foundation that is created by the guitar, by your musical expression, not just a lyric line, because if you said a lyric line by itself as a form of poetry, somebody might say to you, I really like that, or it reminds me of something, but does that land, or does it just make sense here? Does it sound like a pretty attractive lyric line? And what we're able to do with the guitar, as opposed to just strumming chords, G, C, E minor in there somewhere, I forget where I put it, D, and G, is change the expression of a G, change the expression of a C, change the expression of a D. Here's an E. Watch what I'm going to do just for a demonstration or an illustration when I mean change the expression of a chord. Watch what I do. I'm playing an E chord right here, right? If you're just starting the guitar, here is an E chord. This is like an E minor shape, and I add this finger. Yep, I got it right. On this string, and there's my E chord. But this is important too. I want to backtrack just for a second. I don't ever like to address the shape of a chord and call it a chord. Example, people say, what are you playing? Well, I'm playing a chord of E. But it is only an E if I position this shape right here. As soon as I move, the shape is no longer an E, is it? The shape is the same, but it's no longer playing an E chord because I changed the notes I'm playing. So watch what happens. Same shape. Same shape. If I only knew one shape, it's the only thing I knew. I learned how to play guitar. Somebody just showed me one chord shape, and it's all I'm able to do. Watch what I can do, just with knowing one chord. And that's song number one. And okay, hey, here's my next song. That's a lot of music. It's a lot of noise that came out of the guitar just by using one shape. And when we start thinking about chords as shapes instead of chords, what it also does in terms of the conversation we have within ourselves about composing music for a song is it opens up that box. It said, what are the chords of this song going to be? Now, what are the shapes? What's the musical expression? How am I going to define the lyric line musically that I'm writing? So we talk about utilizing shapes instead of using chords. So let's use the E. We're with E. Let's keep going with E. And I'm going to show you some things you can do with the E. Here's an E shape. Watch what I'm going to do. I'll play it for you first. little flow, very delicate landing, and I'm using the E chord. That's all I'm doing. What we normally call a chord. I'm playing within the element of an E. Here's another way of doing the same thing. And here's the landing. Now let's talk about how I did that with the E. All right, I use an E chord right here. I'm going to change the shape of the E. Okay, I'm going to change the shape. Here's the new shape I'm going to use. My first finger is going to slide up 1 fret. My third finger is going to land on the 5th string on the 4th fret. And here's what I get. Now I'm going to use my second finger, get this guy off of here, and put him down here, and I get a minor. Watch this. So I got this shape. Now I can take this shape and move it as well. I want to slide it up 2 frets. So now it's on the 4th fret, meaning the first finger is starting on the 4th fret. That gives you, you start playing with these rhythms. I'll change the rhythm. See, I use the same exact shapes, 2 totally different landings, 2 different feelings, 2 different creations of an atmosphere that's going to float into the room you're playing in, that's going to float within that audience that you're playing for. So here's how I do it again. E chord, slide this guy up 1 fret, and land the 3rd finger, 4th fret, move it up 2 frets, back 2 frets, and E chord again. One more alternative way of doing that, I'll play it for you first. And here's how I did that. Instead of changing the shape and sliding the whole shape up 2 frets, I went back to the E7 shape, to the E chord. So I'm E here. I'm not going to use this hand at all. So I'm E here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slide this guy up 2 frets. This guy just up 1 fret. So here's your E7 chord on the 4th fret. 1, 2, 3, 4, and back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why am I counting? Because timing and space has everything to do with what you play. Not here. This has nothing to do with making the music. All we're doing here is creating shapes. If I don't sound those shapes with this hand, you hear nothing. So I could be playing all the fanciest guitar work in the world, but if this hand doesn't play it appropriately or express it appropriately, you don't hear it, do you? So it's not about, wow, look at all that guitar, look at those chords, and they're all over the neck and everything, because this really doesn't have a whole lot to do with making music. It's the right hand. And too many guitar teachers and guitar method books always place emphasis on, hear the notes and you hear the chords and now you can play the song. But if I don't strike the strings with this hand, or with this hand if you're left-handed, you don't hear it. So I developed a methodology called the integrated guitar methodology, and what that does is for every time you use this hand for something, to learn a technique or style or a chord shape, you do something with this hand as well in terms of finger picking technique, a strumming technique, and all we're really doing with this hand is becoming a drummer. Let's say we're using a common time of 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Now, here's what I'm going to do. Watch this. I'm going to do something very difficult. Remember, I am a trained musician. Do not try this yourself at home. But this is probably the hardest thing I know how to do, but I'm going to do it here anyway. And watch. I think I'll just go like that. It's the hardest thing you know how to do. Try it. Try it yourself. Go ahead. Put your finger right there on the guitar and 1 string, right? We don't hear anything. You say, wow, this guy's kind of, what's that mean? Now, watch what I can do with just 1 finger, 1 string, 1 note. So this hand did this. Now, if I didn't use this hand, just for purpose of illustration, let's see what I did with this hand, okay? I went like this. E string, D string. Of course, this was the E note. My finger was here playing an E note, right? This is what I did. It's like, Mikey, stop playing the guitar, will you? Right? It's like noise. Now I'm gonna put my finger back on that fret. So it's this hand that made that happen. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. And so forth and so on. This hand did the same thing over and over. It didn't change a thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. Okay, so let's go one beyond the E. I showed you some things you can do with that E. Let's go to D minor. Here's a D minor shape. If you don't know a D minor shape or D minor chord, here's a D. Here's a regular D. A lot of you probably know that already. And all I'm doing for D minor is I'm flattening the third. I'm moving the F sharp down 1, and I couldn't really do that with this finger. It doesn't work. So I've got to use this finger instead and form my D minor right here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so here's my D minor, and I'm going to go from there to an A minor. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Now I'm going to write a song. I'm thinking, not the sound I'm looking for, but I like the chord shape because I like the expression. I like how those strings float. I like the sound. I like how everything's landing. But not the sound I'm looking for, though. So let's move it. How about this? A little jazzier. Notice how I kept the same shape. All I did is move them to the 5th fret. D minor shape, A minor shape. But you see why it's so important that we don't call these chords? Because in terms of the conversation, again, it kind of puts us in the box. What are the chords to a song? Don't worry about what the chords are. Experiment with different shapes. Use shapes. D minor shape, A minor shape. This is actually an A major 7 chord. Listen to this. Another way of expressing the same chord. Another voicing of the same chord. Now that gives me another toy to play with. Watch this. I'll get to that in a minute. But so we're using D minor, A minor, slide the A minor down to the 3rd fret, and landing with an A chord. However you want to fret the A, this way, or this way. All right. So another A major 7's here. Here's a D minor. I can also express. Remember, this is D minor. I can move on up the scale. This is A minor. Here's D minor. Same shape. How about up here? Fret is the same as the 1st fret down here, right? So here's what I did. I took this shape, which is the A major 7, which, by the way, is the same thing as a D7 shape. Just moved everything up towards the ceiling 1 string, and you get your A major 7. And I took it to the 13th fret. It's up an octave. It gives me more, again, more fuel, more things I can put in terms of voicing a lyric line or a word of a song by hitting maybe this. If that particular expression of the lyrics calls for it, you don't have to just keep playing the same chords over and over and over again. If a song's going in a certain direction, a certain feeling, something you want to evoke from the person listening to your song, then maybe you could accentuate that or give a little accent to that lyric line by changing how you voice that chord shape. Instead of going here, watch what I'm going to do. Now you saw me do this little, that's how I kind of ended that little progression. So we're here, 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 and an A. Here's what I did. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. On this hand, I'm going like this. I'm not going to use any chords. Just listen to, watch what I'm doing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now I'm going to add the A. Watch what happens. Again, I'll take the chord off. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Nothing happening here, right? And now we're not going to play it, and let's just go here, and we'll fret it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, like a teeter-totter. Okay, and also on the A, I can take an element of the A chord and kind of express that differently too. Watch how I do that. Now, how about that E? I'm just making this up. You could do the same. Here's how I did that. There's actually three shapes that I like to demonstrate over and over and over again, because you can utilize them in a lot of different ways in a lot of different songs. And we're just going to call them shapes, not chords. Here's the shape. First, I'm going to show you where it exists in almost every chord. All right. Let's look at the D chord. Here's a D shape. There's a D chord right here, right? Look at this finger here. And this finger here. You see how my second finger is back one string, down one fret from this finger? All right? Let's look at the C chord. Here's the top half of the C chord. Look how this finger is back one fret, down one string from this finger. Let's look at the basic position of the G chord. Here's the shape again. See how this finger is back one string, down one fret from this? And I could go on and on and on. Look how often this shape is actually used. Now, if I just use that shape by itself, just that shape, watch what I can do with it. Here's a B7. Look, there it is again up here. That shape. Same shape. All right? So, work with this shape. And I never say practice. Never, 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 never practice the guitar or any instrument. Okay? Because here's why. What am I practicing to do? To play, right? I'm practicing so I can play the guitar. I'm practicing so I can play better. So I sit down and say, I'm going to practice. So in here, it puts you, well, I'm going to practice so I can get here someday. Or I can go somewhere. You're practicing to do something, right? You're not practicing, you're playing. Whatever you can play at that moment is what you're actually playing. If you're playing the same song 10 times to get it right, you're playing that song. You're not practicing that song, you're playing it. And the conversation that you have with yourself about your approach to music, when I have this guitar in my lap, I'm a guitar player. I don't care what your profession might be. This is all I do, so you probably have a life out there. But anyway, you're a guitar player, and you're playing the guitar. And the way you approach that, and the way you think about that, is how that'll be projected in your music. So anyway, what I want to say is to play with this shape a lot. Let's even move it up a scale. Let's go from here. A, E, A, and here's another shape. Every other one. Bum, 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 bum. See that? We're going to go back to the E chord. Watch this. making something up. I don't know what that was, but I'm just playing with shapes. I'm doing it within 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 shapes. This is your homework. Study this shape. Study this shape. Every other one, using the first string and the third string, this shape. You can also take this shape, let's go to the 7th fret just for kicks, and watch what I do with it. Same shape, right? And all I'm doing is moving from one shape, transitioning to the next shape, transitioning to the next shape in different places of the guitar. All right, so we have the E. Let's review. We have the E. We have the E going like this. Okay, we have the A like this. Back to E. Okay, work on different chords, moving those chords around. Let's take the D real quick. I'm going to do that same little progression. I'm not going to play it. I'm going to fret it. Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you gotta use this hand down. Watch what I did. And you can say, well, how do you do? What's that strum? I've seen techniques. I've seen guitar teachers. I've seen books, diagram charts that explain chord strumming and finger picking technique with little arrows. Down, down, up, down, up, down, whatever that is. And now you're sitting here watching, staring at your hand, strumming, going, let me see, down, down, up, down, down. No, 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 no. First of all, we don't ever want to look at what we're playing, ever, right? You can kind of peek the corner of your eye just so you know where you are and make sure you got the notes right. You can make a mistake. People do all the time. You get an idea where you're at, land it, play it, right? But here's what happens. If I'm looking at myself playing the guitar, if I'm looking at everything I'm doing, and if I'm looking at myself strumming, then what am I not doing? I'm not feeling the song. I'm mechanically thinking about what I'm doing instead of projecting and being the mood and the song I'm creating as I'm playing it, right? So try not to look, stare. I've seen people do that, just kind of look, stare the whole time, or look here and stare, just self-strumming the whole time. That's a no-no. It's okay to peek and spend a little bit of time and kind of look your way around, but try to focus on the space of the room. If you're playing in front of your dog or your empty room or your kids or an audience or an open mic, whatever it might be, focus on them. And it's okay to make a little mistake. So I land on here. Just fix it, that's all. I land the wrong fret, whoops, it happens. It happens, don't worry about it. What you can't fix is skipping the beat, is having the song drop out from under you. Do you ever see a play and a performer on stage, they might forget a line or they mumble over a line, the play doesn't stop, the play keeps going, right? So when you're playing a song, something is not quite right technically, forget about it. It's part of what we do. Keep playing it. What you want to do is drive, whether it's a romantic, slow, expressive song with a lot of floating, or if it's a hard driving blues or rock and roll song, whatever it might be. Just drive the tune. That's what we want to do. All right, Ray, do you have any questions? Something, I know we touched on a lot of different things here, but...
Well, number one, just to be clear, the terms of, if you were going to play on the first fret, the chord shapes in terms of the chords would be E, D, and A minor. Is that correct?
E.
E, D.
Yeah, D.
And the other one was?
A minor.
A minor, okay.
And the other was D minor. It was a D minor shape, a D minor.
Right, okay. So it was really 4.
Yeah. So we have D minor to an A minor. And we moved that D minor to the 5th fret, and we did it again up here. Now I want to just have fun, just because you mentioned that, it's kind of a cool. I want to play a little, make something up half the time, I guess. D minor, A minor, and then move it and create a whole different song. But I'm not going to do anything differently technically. I'm going to do the same exact thing. But here I am. I'm playing at a folk club or a folk festival, wherever it might be, and I'm going to do two. I'm not going to play the whole song through, obviously, but I want to do two little illustrations of the same exact thing. I just moved it. Okay. Here's my next song. Yeah, you can sing with me if you want to.
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
I noticed with a lot of guitar books where they show you different chords up different parts of the fretboard, then in the little chord diagrams, they have these X's about you're not supposed to play that string, but it sounds like you would say, don't worry about it.
Well, you don't want to play the string, but here's what happens when you, and I just say don't worry about it. Here's why. Because let me just show you what happens when you do play the wrong string in a chord. Watch this. Here's a D chord. Hear that? This is E note.
Right.
Touch theory just for a second. The notes of a D chord. A D chord is every chord is a triad, and the triad makes up a chord is the first, the third, and the fifth note of the major scale of that chord. So a D, the first note is a D, the third note's an F sharp, and the fifth is an A. So here's my A, and here's my D, and here's my F sharp. There is no E. So watch what happens. So I would X out this string. Don't play it, right? But here's what happens if you're showing this to somebody, you're learning this for the first time. If I say, no, don't hit that string, you're going to think, oh, I better not hit that string. That becomes priority over expressing the chord in the song. So you'll, after a period of time, this does not happen in 5 minutes. The more you play, not practice, the more you play, this will start becoming instinctive. You'll play this and you'll say, what does not sound right here? Well, actually, my thumb's sitting here not doing a whole lot. I've got an F sharp here. I can add the F sharp here, putting the third in the bass of the D chord. It's a first inversion of a D chord is what I call it in theory. But watch what happens when I put the third in the bass of the D. It just opens it up. And I'm writing a song. Let's go back to writing a song real quick. I'm kind of liking that. And you see people do this a lot. I want to come up with a melodic structure of a song, just with that, just by doing that. Watch this. Strings, see if I can do it. So, and just I don't know what that was. It's no particular song, but that's what happens. You start doing these things, folks, and next thing you know, you're spitting out, more songs that you know what to do with, just because the ideas never stop. Never stops. Versus just playing chords and just strumming and doing basic finger picking. I want to touch upon this because I don't think I spent much time. I talked a lot about this hand just creates shapes, and that's really all you're doing. This hand makes the noise, right? This is what people hear, what comes here. I mean, you can you play the guitar without this hand? Yeah, you can. But let's talk about using this hand real quick. And what a really easy, an approach to utilize that will enable you to probably progress more quickly is to envision your thumb as a metronome, doing the counting for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do a G chord and watch what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Hear this? 1, 2. Listen for that. Just listen for that by itself. Now watch. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's slow it way down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I do, I went 1. After this guy hit a string, my second or third finger hit a string. Which one was it? Third one, I guess. The thumb then rotated to the D string, which is the fifth note in the G chord. So I'll go 1, 5, 1, 5 in terms of the notes of the chords. 1, G note, D note, G, D, G, D, G, D. I won't use these fingers, just G, D. Watch this. Here's what I did. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just do that. Don't practice it, play it. Play this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. So you can close your eyes, go get a cup of coffee, put on a little palette, put on a movie, watch Netflix, and while you're watching Netflix, real softly go like this with the guitar. And just do it. 1, 2, 3, bum, 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 bum. Because it's not automatic at first. It's not automatic. You got to work at it. You got to, believe it or not, counting to 4. And I've said this to so many people doing seminars in all points of the country, where I do these stage performance and advanced guitar technique sessions and seminars. And I tell people we're going to learn how to count to 4. And people look at me, we're going to what? Because that's the most important thing there is about this, is being able to just 1, bum, bum. Even if you're doing a 5/4, 6/8 jazz. Whatever it might be, delivering that rhythm, delivering that space, even if you're changing the tempo of a song or changing the timing midway through a song, which can happen, it does, you're doing that with commitment, with purpose, with intent, and you're making it very even and very smooth, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Change chords. Change chord, E minor. D with the F sharp. G. D. Now let's change it. Here we go. I'm going to add the other 2 fingers. Exercise. I'm going to show you a quick exercise. We're going to take an E minor shape. We're going to move it to the 5th fret. Thumb is going like this. Hit the D string first. Then the thumb's going to hit the A string. Like this. 1, 2, 3. For those of you who are watching, who have taken the Sam Ash seminars that I've done, have seen me do this a billion times, and you can do it too, so play it along. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll go to the 5th fret, to the 4th fret, to the 2nd fret. Watch how I do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just with my thumb. Great exercise. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the thumb like the mother hen. Here's the 2 chickadees. Watch. Every time the thumb hits, these guys hit 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So what I'm really doing is I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, and at the same time 1, 2, 3 at the same time. I'm counting the 4 and 3 simultaneously. Here's what I get. Four times. Thumb 2, 3, thumb 2, 3, thumb 2, 3, thumb 2, 3, thumb 2, 3. Thumb. Now move it down one string towards the floor. And back. B7 chord. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna do a duet together. Even though I'm here, I'm gonna play the rhythm and you're gonna play the lead. Here's how I'm gonna do it. On your guitar, on the top of your guitar, you've got these white dots. See the white dots there, right? They mark the frets. You could play that E minor shape on the same two strings, 1, 2, 3, 4, on any fret that has a white dot. Let me give you a demonstration of what that's like. So I'm going 9, 7, 5, 9, 7, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I want you to do, get guitars. I'll wait. Go ahead. No. What I want you to do is you're going to go 9, 7, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I here, while we're doing this together, I'm just going to go 5, 4, 2. All right? I'll count it. I'll go slow. Ready? 1, 2. Now you're gonna start on the 9th fret. Okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. 9, 7, 5. Listen to the guitars together. Listen to the guitars together. Move it down. 9, 7, 5. It should be sounding very pretty right now. And back. Do 5, 7, 9. 5, 7, 9. B7 chord. E minor. And you can play the E minor up here on the 9th fret. You play it up here, I'll play it down there. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, strum. Do the two guitars together, what that does. So that actually works. I know I'm doing it by myself here solo, but when we do this together, which I expect you to do, you'll see how that works. And it's another illustration of how you really can effectively change the expression when you're songwriting. That's what this is all about. It's about attaching musical expressions to lyric lines, making the song more potent, if you will, giving it more foundation, more drive, making it land a little bit better, perhaps, than just being a pretty song. Next question, Ray.
Not really a question. It's just that you can really just play around with it, and in a certain way, you really can't make a mistake because if you figure the notes out, it's some chord.
Yeah, you can. It's when you want, and what happens when you kind of get off just playing. Here's another song I'm going to write, and it's C G. What do we say? C G D or whatever. There's so many songs that have that, right? I'm going to change the D. Watch, I'll go from G, C, D. Watch G. Here's my C. Watch this. Here's my D. Now let's have a song, just for illustration, that lands, the hook, the landing is on the D. What I mean by landing is, watch this. That's a turn back to G. Now watch how I change the entire expression of that verse, whatever it is, by changing one thing in how I expressed it. Watch how the feel, the landing is completely different. Watch this. So I took it. This is a C chord, right? It's a C shape. It's only a C if I play it here. What is it here? It's kind of like a weird C sharp. Some of the notes don't belong there, obviously. But watch what happens when I move it up a whole step to a D. Is it exactly a D chord? No, because I'm playing some notes that are not in the D chord within this. But watch what we get. You know what that reminds me of, Ray? That's an old Neil Young song. What is it? Sugar Mountain. I'm making a point not to teach songs, so I won't do that. Okay, so one more thing I want to talk about real quick, and then we'll call it a day here, or morning, whatever time it is, wherever you might be. Here's a C chord. Ray talked earlier about Xing out strings you don't want to play. I want to play an E note within a C chord. The E is the third note in the C scale, therefore it is in the C chord. Here it is. Listen to this note. Open E, right? Listen to this. Wow. It's got to go somewhere. It is correct. But listen how I'm getting at it. Whenever you put the third in the bass, the third is a very transitional note in that when it's expressed in that you hear it in symphonic orchestras and Beethoven and Mozart and Vivaldi. You hear it a lot of times in transition notes in the bass. You hear a third down there, and a third is activity. It needs to go somewhere. It needs to move. For example, listen to how this moves. Listen to the third going to the first in the G chord. I'm going to go C or G. Here's the third note. Third in the bass, so D. So that was kind of cool. Again, I just made that up, but I got some ideas. Watch what I'm going to do now to close that C up. I'm going to put the fifth note in the bass, which is a G, and now my C chord is a little more. I'm using my fingers here. I'm filling it out a little bit more, right? E minor shape up here, A minor 7 shape down here, and I get a C chord. Same exact chord progression. Watch what I do. Now I'm going to put the fifth in the bass. If you want to, you go back and play this again, and you do this part. You play the C with the E in the bass against me putting the C with the G in the bass. We'll do it together. It should sound pretty cool, actually, if you play along with me. It should be pretty cool. All right, anyway. I'm sorry. Got to do one more thing, Ray. Sorry. We got to do this because it's important. Notes. It's really important that you start to really kind of master the guitar and not let it master you, to know your way around a little bit. And I like to do to make sure that guitar players, no matter what stage of their career they're in their guitar work, are familiar somewhat with patterns that form different scales. There's blues scales, pentatonic scales, harmonic minor scales. The scales go on forever. There's basically, but there's a pattern for each one, and if you know the patterns, then you just move it around as the scale of whatever that is. So sometimes I like to use the A, because it's right in the middle, right? And here's the pattern. Watch this. 5th fret, 7th fret, next string, 4th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 4th string again, 4th fret again, next string. Now, 6th fret. So here's we are. Do that every day. And here's why. This is the weakest finger in the hand. There's no muscles here whatsoever. Nothing. There's no way you could work scales and so forth all day long. You're never going to strengthen this finger, this part of your hand, because there's no way to do so. But what you can do is increase the dexterity of and have it move on your command as opposed to flopping out there as dead weight. Land when you want it to land. Use it to start playing leads and rhythms, and we can go on. Maybe we'll do melodic structure and lead guitar stuff some other time, Ray. But do this as much as you can. You can take it up further. All right. So and I can move that anywhere I want. To a B. See, the pattern's the same. 3rd fret. G scale. G, A, B. All right. So work with those chord expressions, folks, and just dabble with the scales a little bit, and practice that as much as you can too. Okay. I think we just kind of like bombarded everybody with like, whoa.